Hi guys, Mac here with the Raging Rover channel. We've got a lot to cover today. As you can see, I've got the back end of the Rover stripped down. The low rider rack has been taken off, the battery's taken off, the tire has been remounted. Hats off to West Michigan Bike and Fitness over here in Grand Rapids, one of the TerraTrike dealers. I dropped it off, the rear tire off on Monday morning. By the time I left the store, 8 people had already walked in. They told me they were so busy they might not be able to get to it until the end of the month. So I told them, hey, I'm leaving the tire with you guys. Call me when it's done. I can't ride until it's fixed, because it was definitely out of round. You could see it. I left there, stopped at Home Depot, stopped at the grocery store, picked up groceries, got home, got everything unloaded, and I got a text message. I went back and it was done. They got it done in less than 12 hours, so my hat's off to West Michigan Bike and Fitness. And I can tell you that while I was in there, their shop has never been more empty than I saw it on Monday. They're selling bikes left and right. They're selling accessories left and right. They can't keep the stuff in stock. Okay, so I got the rear tire here mounted, and then some other stuff came up. I decided that I'm going to put the fenders on. Now, in order to put TerraTrike fenders on, you got to know certain things, and we're going to get right into that right now. Number one, see if I can zoom this thing into this. Right down here, okay? Right down here. That is very super duper critical. I need a pointer, don't I? I need to get closer in here is what I need to do, so I can reach over here and get this stuff. So bear with me for just a second. Okay. As everybody sees, this right here is the luggage rack. And see where it connects? Right there. Now you see that point right there and that point right there? That's where your fender is going to connect. And then in the front, and you can't see it because the chain guards in, or the chain stays in the way there, but right there, down here in this little pocket, is where it connects. Now this had a metal frame that was attached to this with a rivet that came around, and it would and I'm going to stick the fender in front of the camera here. The metal part was supposed to wrap around this, and then it had a couple of tangs on it that you were supposed to bend up underneath the edge and into the fender, and it just did not work. So I gave up on it and took it off. And when it comes to removing your back tire because you've got a flat, it's going to be a pain in the butt to get this thing on and off, because there is absolutely no room whatsoever to get to this screw down here. You can't see it in the camera until I move it here. Okay, now you can see the screw down there. This is a little button head screw. Uses a number 3mm hexagonal wrench, and you don't want to tighten that thing down too much because you could strip it out real easy. If you've got the lowrider rack on there, it's almost impossible to get, because you've got to come up from below, from way down here at the ground level is where you got to come in at, and then come up to it. That's why I took the lowrider rack off, so I could do this. Now I don't have this little frame that's supposed to go here, but I'm going to try something else. Okay? What I'm going to do is I put the fender on, and I'm going to back this thing out now. I put the fender on, and so that it was sitting on there, I took that little tab that's right there, and I put it up to the fender, and I put a little mark on the fender right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a small hole, just small enough to get a zip tie through there. Okay? And this is my thinking. Alright? I want to be able to put a zip tie through it like this, okay, and then put another zip tie on top of that one to hold it in place. So I'll have basically two zip ties right like that, and that'll hold it in place. If I ever have to take this off in order to change the back tire, it'll be just a matter of cutting off the zip tie. This will then go ahead and come off, and instead of going down here and taking off all these screws, you got a choice. You can either take these screws off, both of which are 5mm screws that take a number 4mm hex wrench, and you can sit there and play around and have to reset your entire both your fender and your back rack, which for me has the, as you can see right here, this is where my battery goes for my Bafang unit. So I really don't want to have to mess with that unless I got to. So that was the first issue I wanted to bring up with you folks today. I really did not like the way TerraTrike put these together, but under the circumstances I can see that they really had no choice. I do wish they would have spent a little bit more time in the engineering department on these though, because it's almost impossible to get to that screw down there. I would have liked to see some better hardware attachment to it, so that once you've got that in place, you don't ever have to mess with it again. And that's the idea behind this right here. So I'm going to drill a little hole in here. It's going to have a little, and this is going to pull this away from the tire by at least ½ an inch. It's actually going to pull it out away from the tire, so I'll have plenty of clearance. And that way I won't have to worry about it rubbing or anything else like that. I've already test fitted it. It will work. But this is my solution to that. And then after I get that completed, I'll restart this video and show you the other issue that we have. Be right back. Alright, I don't know if you can see it right there, but right here's the zip strip. It's coming through the fender, coming through that, and then there's another one there that's holding it in place. And if I pick this thing up and spin the wheel, you see the wheel spins freely, does not rub against the fender, and that's the job of the fender. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is put the low rack rider on, because I want to show you guys something. I think I'm going to take this thing off permanently because I really don't have a need for it anymore. Well, the reason I got it is, it will be pretty obvious in a second. Okay? Be right back. Okay guys, do you see what I mean now? About the lowrider rack. This is pretty much how the bike's going to be here in the next couple of days. The main difference is I'm going to have the front fenders on as well. These are my side bags. I've got this Arco bag right here that sits behind the seat, and it wraps around my neck rest, as you can see. Okay, I was hoping to be able to use the lowrider rack to eliminate that. Okay, you can see the battery there on top. That's what drives the mid-drive up front, and my panniers in the back. And with this lowrider rack on, you can't work on anything. It's in the way of everything. You almost have to take the thing off to work on the back wheel, or anything in the back for that matter. So I'm thinking I'm gonna take it off and just run without it for now, because my original idea was to find a couple of semi-rigid or rigid closable, lockable boxes that I could attach to the sides of the lowrider rack there, and then use that to put my repair tools in, so I wouldn't have to carry them in that Arco bag on the back seat, in the back of the seat. Okay, but as you can clearly see, okay, in the picture here, and I'm gonna use my handy dandy little teeny tiny Allen wrenches I've been using as an example. Right here, and I'm going to try to, right here is where the edge of that lowrider rack is on the back tire. There's no room to get in there to do anything. If you have to take that thing off, if you have to take that fender off, you're going to have to take the lowrider rack off as well. There's just no way you can continue working on that thing with that thing in place, because the bottom part of the lowrider rack, which is this thing right here, sits about 6 inches above the ground. That's it. Maybe 8 inches. I'm kind of guesstimating it right now, but I'd say probably 6 to 8 inches at the most. So, and that's right where you want to. That's right where you want to. Right in here is where you want to come up and work on that screw that holds this fender in place. And of course, this is your chain line for your, your chain return from, that goes to your, it goes like that. So the lowrider rack is a good idea if you actually have stuff that you're going to use. They're going to put on it that you're going to use every day. If it's just a thing of convenience, you know what? Don't even bother putting it on, because their chances are you're going to get a flat. Chances are you're going to have to take this back tire off. And the way I've got this thing set up right now, let's see if I can zoom out here again. I'm going to have to take the back pannier off. I'll probably take the battery off to make it lighter so I can lift it up in the air. Now the two side bags, and I've only got these things mounted on one side, as you can see. Okay, the two side bags, one right there, one will be on the other side over here. These are my electronics. This is what's going to have my my 3 video cameras that I carry with me, that I will be carrying with me, including the one I'm recording with right now. This also has my GPS unit in it. It has my cell phone that's going to be up in there and all that. Up here at the top, I got my air sound horn, my GPS mount right here at the very top. But let me see if I can tilt this thing back a little bit and you can get a better idea. Okay, yep, and my side mirrors. And of course over here on the left side of the cockpit is all the Bafang controls. So I pretty much got this thing loaded up right now. I really can't see too many more modifications to it, except maybe going from the Schwabel Marathons that are on here now, or the Schwabel tires that are on here now, to maybe Big Apples or Big Bens. That's about it. I don't know. Just a few minor modifications. I also might put a canopy on it. That's also a possibility. But if I put a canopy on it, most of the canopies I've seen are kayak canopies, and they go in the ends of the seats right there and right there, and that's where I currently put my flags at. So then I got to come up with a way to mount flags. So I don't know. Excuse me. Getting a little dry in here. But I wanted to share with you guys the frustrations I was having with that back fender and with this this lowrider rack location. I really think I'm going to take that thing off permanently until I am able to find the boxes and the bags that I can actually use, and then I'll put it back on there and leave it on there permanently. And then if I have to take the back tire apart, I'll be able to do so, knowing that that's the lowrider rack is a critical part of the trike itself, because I won't always, every time I go out for a ride, I'm not going to be carrying these side bags. I'm only going to carry them when I need to. It's nice to have them there because they act like armrests, but you know what? They're absolutely not an essential thing. I can carry absolutely everything I need in these 3 bags here in back. With the two pannier backs back here and my pack right here, I can carry everything I need, including water, supplies, my helmet, my spare flags, my locking mechanisms if I ever choose to lock this thing up. So far I haven't been anywhere where I need to lock it up. But you know, everything is I can carry in these 3 bags right here right now. So alright, it's supposed to be decent weather starting Tuesday now. They're saying Tuesday or Wednesday. I want this thing ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take this lowrider rack off. I'm going to start mounting the permanent stuff on. And sometime, hopefully by the end of the week, I might have my first ride video for you. And we'll talk about some things, okay? Alright, see you then. This is Mac on the Ranging Rover channel.